Okay. Who am I talking to today?
We got Jay Young.
We got Jordan Gilliam.
So the Fracture is Jordan and I's project that we've been working on for the last, I'd say about a year and a half. And it's a collaboration between us both as guitar players, songwriters, and producers. And it's our little experiment at combining trip hop, sort of that late 90s moment that happened that we love so much, combining that with everything else we love, which is instrumental, post-rock, spacey guitar stuff, shoegaze, and a little bit of everything else in between that we love. And that is sort of what the Fracture has become in a nutshell.
Yep.
Jordan, all you have to say is yup.
I second all that was just said about the Fracture. It's been a good process to work through. A lot of good stuff happened. A lot of good moments that we were able to create some amazing music together and share it. So
describe that amazing music, Jordan, will you please? Like, what should one expect from the upcoming album?
What should one expect? I think people should expect a little bit of a musical journey. I feel as though the songs start in one place and the listeners should feel as though they're in another place by the end of the album. There's 6 songs and they are a bit lengthy. I think the longest track, correct me if I'm wrong, Jay, I think it's clocked in at like 7 something.
It's about right.
You know, and so I just think people should be ready for an experience, but it's going to also require some patience. And the project is instrumental in nature on purpose, and so it allows the listener just to kind of find their space in the music. So that's what we hope. We hope people expect to enjoy it, and we hope people expect to kind of go on a emotional ride.
Jordan, did you go into this project with Jay knowing that it was going to be an instrumental soundscape of sorts?
Overall, yes. I think the initial idea was to have vocals, and then working through the element of maybe this isn't going to work out. We, being me and Jay, realized, oh wait, we can actually do quite a bit more with just the two of us. And all the musicianship we've shared in the past just kind of worked itself out. And so to answer your question, we had a singer, I think, for a minute, but it turned into being more of a project for just Jay and I to grow with and expand with. And I think we've realized it was a lot better for this project to be what it is right now.
Yeah, I agree. I think it really found its traction once we decided to make it instrumental and be purposeful in that. It really unlocked a lot of opportunity for me and Jordan to write the way we want to write. And that's not to say that we're not super up for collaborating with vocalists in the future. In fact, it is definitely on our short list of things we want to do. We've got a couple vocalists kind of pinpointed that we want to work with on some future tracks. But for this record, we just felt, Jordan and I say it all the time, we give the songs what they want. And it became pretty apparent to us that the songs wanted to exist as instrumentals, at least for this album.
So, Jay, correct me if I'm wrong. Are you the gatekeeper for the audio that we now hear? Are you doing the mixing? Are you like taking everything that is shared between the two of you and just sort of morphing it into the final picture that both of you have come up with?
Yeah, that's been our primary workflow. Some ideas are started by Jordan, some of them are initiated by me, but usually at the end of the day, tracks, Jordan will send me his stems, and if he has started the beat production on it, he will send me stems of that, but also a reference track. And I usually end up doing the main mix down for everything we do. And, over the course of just sending a whole ton of files back and forth through the tubes and wires of the internet, Jordan and I have developed a workflow that's worked pretty good for us. But yeah, I'd say you're correct in that.
Jordan, do you feel like you are the one leading the charge, or do you think it's a give and take in regards to sending files and sharing ideas?
A lot of the ideas for me, it started just like on a jog or somewhere in nature, somewhere outside, somewhere organic. It wasn't always just sitting down with my guitar or piano, seeing what happens, you know? And so really recording the idea was the easier part. I think for Jay and I, it was rather easy actually, because most of the ideas wrote themselves. It's hard to explain that. And I feel like my words are failing me right now, but it in a way, it wasn't so much of trying to come up with the best part. I think the best parts were already there, and we had to just kind of be open to it. And so if I send an idea, typically he would just throw his stuff in the mix, and it just sounded the way it did, and go, okay, this is great, we're done, moving on. Or vice versa, he'd send me an idea, I'd add some parts to it. It really was rather easy to be creative in that way, especially with us being so far apart.
Who were those guest collaborators?
Evan Willie plays bass. Jordan and I have both been in a couple different bands with him, and with you as well, Paul. I mean, we're all from Grand Rapids.
Me?
That's right.
Me?
So, us all being from Grand Rapids originally, you know, all three of us have played in bands together before, and Evan was part of that experience as well. Also, and he's been a dear friend for a very long time, since high school for me. And it was great to have him play bass on a track on this album. He's incredible, and what he brings to it is such a unique style for playing bass. He has such a unique perspective. And the other guest musician we had on the album is a guy named Michael Koch, and he's one of my other great friends from around here. And he's just one of those musicians who is just pure talent. Tracking with Michael, the process for that was like, I would send him a couple rough ideas. He would listen to them a couple times, but bringing him in the studio, miking him up with his violin, and just listening to him take 5-6 runs through a song. And I would come away with 5 or 6 just pure gold like takes on everything. And then it was really just a matter of comping them together and choosing you know, how to put together the arrangement. That was pretty magical as well.
we're back.
That's how they used to do it back in the day. So my question was, who are your musical influences, Jordan and Jay? Jordan, you go ahead and start.
All right. My biggest influence right now is Thrice. I think musically they've managed to really push the boundaries of music in a way that I really enjoy and resonate with. Radiohead, obvious win, hands down. I've been playing their whole catalog pretty much through COVID. Outkast, The Weeknd, Lana Del Rey, and a whole bunch of movie soundtracks. Interstellar. Is it Hans Zimmer? One of the guys that pops up. Such good stuff happening right now that I'm looking forward to see what comes from this time being COVID, where music decides to take us, you know.
I think I'll start with the most obvious ones that definitely come through as a extreme influence on the Fracture stuff. I would say going back and listening to all of Massive Attack's back catalog, some of the best stuff that's
what was the album that had the bug on it?
That's Mezzanine.
Mezzanine. Is that one of your favorite? Because that's the one I recall, like from back in the day. I was like, I
So
need to listen more of this.
So yeah, that is the Massive Attack album. But my favorite is actually the 100th Window, which I believe is the one that came after that. That's actually my favorite Massive Attack album. But Mezzanine is definitely that's the big one that everybody knows.
Guys like me that just know Massive Attack like this much.
That's the one.
But at least I remember it.
I would say do yourself a favor and listen to 100th Window. It's amazing. Okay. And again, that's been a big inspiration for me. And if you listen to it, it's even the format, you know, it's the two producers and guest vocalists on 100th Window, like Sinead O'Connor does vocals on a couple tracks, and it's absolutely mind blowing. But that's been a big influence for me. Also, Deftones has been a consistent influence on me. Everything that Chino has done, everything that the band has done together as Deftones, and their ability just to kind of weave in and out of genres and expand, keep people guessing, like they pull from all their influences that they have individually, and it really comes through in a cool way.
Do you like Crosses?
Yep, Crosses is fantastic. I mean, sign me up for anything that Chino's got his voice on.
Word.
You know, Palms, Crosses, Team Sleep, all of it. Yeah.
So Jordan, what is next for the Fracture? Is there gonna be another album after the one that's coming out here on the 20th?
Yeah, we are so pumped. Jay had a great idea to kind of put out what we call fragments, and they'll be on the website, on social media, and essentially it's just him and I putting just bits and pieces of music. Some of it has video, some of it just maybe he or I playing guitar, but the idea really is just to keep creating something. And so if you want me to answer the question with that, that's what's next. More music, right? It's more videos, the album comes out, and then we're hoping to hopefully keep the writing going between now and, you know, this fall into Christmas. And so I don't see that stopping.
Do the both of you see because you're instrumental, do the both of you see this necessity to inspire with also visual and audio content?
For me personally, I wouldn't say it's a necessity that drives it. It's kind of like the opportunity to have an extension, and use the visual aspect as an extension of how to express what the songs kind of convey. But for the most part, that is the challenge. I mean, when you are writing instrumentally and you don't have lyrical content driving you to a particular place, you need to tell a story without words, and that has been the challenge for us, and it's been great. I feel like we've achieved it to a degree, and adding the visual aspect is kind of just it's the icing on the cake, and it's just an extension.
What inspired this?
There it is.
You mean the visual aspects of
Yeah,
kind of
so if
just
you
like our
open,
general
like
branding?
there's the cover,
Mhm.
and then here's more cityscape. Oops, sorry, there you go. There's more cityscape, and then more cityscape.
Yeah.
Where did cityscape come from?
That's a good question.
I feel like a lot of it was Jordan and I had continually in just conversating about this. It's like, people are together for a reason. We have cities for a reason. It is, I think they're the manifestation of like humanity's need to be connected to each other, and to exist among each other. But there's a balance to that too, I think that it's also leads to a lot of the garbage as well, when too many of us get together. So there's a really interesting dichotomy in that we'd love to explore, and I think it kind of speaks to the music itself. It's we have a lot of electronic elements, but we also have, we float acoustic guitars over electronic instrumentation very intentionally, because there's a really cool thing that happens when you take those two elements and you juxtapose them together or on top of each other. That's just been a common theme for me and Jordan